I just had to have some fresh coffee, guys. Are you serious? Are you serious? I can't believe this just in. It's serious. Are you serious? I can't believe this just in. All right, now we know that works. Guys, unbelievable. It's happening again. This time it's walkie-talkie radio, basically not walkie-talkies, but more sophisticated radio communication devices are blowing up, hundreds of them blowing up in the hands of Hezbollah all across Lebanon. So, I mean, unbelievable. They didn't just do it to the pagers, but they're able to blow up now the handheld radio, which there's about 1,000 of those out there, maybe more. They're blowing up all across Israel right now. All across Lebanon, all over Beirut. So yesterday, it's 4,000 pagers explode. 500 of the reports I'm getting is over 500 Hezbollah fighters blinded. Thousands of them losing fingers and hands. Or if they had it on their belt side, blowing a hole through their side. Or if it was inside their pocket, their front pocket, blowing a hole in their thigh or groin. An incredible, one of the most brilliant military strategic moves in history. But wait, there's more. It just started happening again. Hundreds this time of these handheld radios. Let me tell you about that. And I just did a video on my Patreon channel on how the pagers, the whole trail from where these pagers were made until how they were finally implemented into the hands of Hezbollah, and who put the and how that the detonating devices were put inside the page. It's all on my Patreon. Let me just tell you about it all, guys. Hang on with me. Can you hold on just a moment? It's happening. And oh, by the way, and rockets are flying right now out of southern Lebanon into Israel as we speak. That just started happening 15 minutes ago. Let me tell you all about this, guys, in just a second here. But first, a real quick shout, if you don't mind, for gutcleanseprotocol.com/Paul. That's gutcleanseprotocol.com/Paul. Speaking of digestive issues, and I'm sure they got a lot of problems in Lebanon right now with digestive issues. This is caused by potential toxin that's in all of the, quote, healthy foods that scientists have been telling us to eat with a fraudulent food pyramid for the longest time. And this potential toxin causes digestive issues, according to Dr. Stephen Gundry. He's that world-renowned cardiologist. This is affecting millions of people nationwide. Warning signs include weight gain, fatigue, digestive discomfort, stiff joints, even skin problems are all being attributed to these toxins. And Dr. Stephen Gundry explains that these side effects are often mistaken for just normal signs of aging, because digestive issues do develop usually over a matter of years and sometimes even decades. But I can assure you that the damage is probably caused more by these, quote, health foods, and it's far from normal. The good news is you can easily fix this problem from your own home. It's very simple. You just have to know which foods are actually healthy and which ones contain the hidden potential toxin. Guys, do this. This is a call to action, everybody. Just click on that link below this video, gutcleanseprotocol.com/Paul, gutcleanseprotocol.com/Paul. You'll be glad that you did and that I told you about it, okay? Wow. Thank you, Stephen. Dr. Stephen Gundry. Thank you. All right, guys, here's what's going on. These things, and oh, by the way, I tell you, you talk about an October surprise. If we can just make it through September, then October will be crazier. I know. We've already had a second assassination attempt, and now pagers are blowing up, and now radios are blowing up, and now rockets are flying again, and the wars are raging, and the moon turned blood red. Are you serious? How many more things can happen? But trust me, a lot more. And in the webinar, October Surprise, which is starting September 27th, it's October Surprise. We're going to tell you about it in this September 27th. These great speakers bring forth critical information, inside information from different intelligence agencies, as well as some of their own observations. It's an incredible, we brought in the experts for this, and every one of them, phenomenal information. This is the webinar like none other, October Surprise. Go to my website right now, paulbegleyprophecy.com. We're only 9 days away, guys, from the webinar. There's only 9 days away. Go there now, get your tickets. Go there now, get your tickets, or pick up the phone and call them at 765-414-2230. All right. Call my headquarters. Okay, here's what's going on. Unbelievable, guys. I'm so glad for all of you that are here with me. But yes, Hezbollah is now firing rockets into Israel, but I don't know who's shooting them, who's pulling the triggers, because half these guys' hands got blown off. 500 of them are blinded. The hospital's overflowing. They're shipping wounded Hezbollah fighters into Syria. Some are being flown into Iran for surgeries and treatment. This was an incredible, insane move. And let me just read this to you. And now handheld radios, just happened within the last half hour. As I was preparing to go live here, the radios, walkie-talkies are detonating all over Lebanon. Hospitals, again, ambulances are running crazy. There's chaos everywhere. So what happened was just about 24 hours later, Hezbollah decides, okay, we can't use the pagers. Everybody's bleeding, all that. We got to get back organized. So they got everybody on these radios. And so about 1,000 of their Hezbollah personnel had these walkie-talkie radios, maybe more than 1,000. These things all started blowing up. The walkie-talkie detonations is a second wave of explosions in Lebanon. It just started about a half hour ago. Yesterday, 12 people were killed, 4,000 were wounded, over 500 of them are blind, thousands of amputations, surgeries, total chaos through the streets and throughout the land of Lebanon. And now we know that this was a joint operation between Israelis intelligence and Mossad, which is our CIA here in America is Israel's Mossad. It's their secret spy organization. So we know that Israelis, military intelligence, and Mossad were behind the explosions of the pagers yesterday. And today it's walkie-talkies. Hezbollah bought these pagers a month ago and distributed them to all of their Hezbollah guys because they were afraid, or they already knew, that Israel had hacked their cell phone systems and were reading all their texts and could hear their conversations. So Hezbollah decided we can't use our cell phones, so we're going to go to these pagers that they bought a month ago. Those pagers have exploded. So now they're using a walkie-talkie handheld radios. Those are exploding now. All over the place in the last 30 minutes. There's chaos. Smoke is rising from mobile, shops. People are in the streets. I'm looking at pictures right now. 3 people are dead that we know of. 12 were killed yesterday. We know at least 3 are dead today from this new wave of wireless devices, which were handheld radio devices exploding. These devices exploding were walkie-talkie type radio communication devices. At first, they thought there was only 20 explosions, but now they know there's hundreds. And And so it is absolutely chaos. They're not even over the chaos. I mean, we're talking hundreds of walkie-talkies now blowing up in the hands and in the faces of the Hezbollah fighters who didn't get their hands blown off yesterday with pagers. Meanwhile, there's rockets flying. Now, I just did a video on information I received. Now, I'm not going to reveal my sources, but information I received on how the pagers got from Taiwan to Hezbollah and the whole path it went and who was involved. You can watch that video. It's on my Patreon channel. It's called, give me a second. I'll tell you what I titled it. I just posted it. If you saw my video from, was it yesterday or the day before? Yesterday, I was interviewed on a TV show called Take 5 for His Glory TV. It was a great, it's about a 30-minute interview. You can watch that while you're at it. I posted that yesterday. I just posted this one. It's called The Exploding Pagers, Lebanon. Guys, it's about a 10-minute video. I break down the entire, I even named, okay, you got to go watch it. I'm not going to say no more. But the info's there on exactly how they did this. And I just posted that, and I was coming on live to tell you about the rockets are just now flying into Israel when the news broke, and I just got my hands on it, that all of a sudden these walkie-talkies started blowing up. And there's over hundreds of them. It's probably a little over 1,000. We're not sure, but we know hundreds of walkie-talkies detonated. That's today. 4,000 pagers detonated yesterday. 350 Hezbollah fighters in critical condition. Hundreds of them lost their hands or fingers. 500 plus went blind. Some have massive holes in their side, into their intestines from the explosion because they had the pager on the side of their belt. Some had them in their front pocket, blowing off part of their thigh or an even groin. There's not enough surgeons in the country. There's not enough hospital beds, ERs overrunning. They were amputating people's hands outside in the parking lot. Okay. This is the most incredible, insane, without Israel has completely maimed and crippled and blinded the enemy without firing a shot. And while that's going on, Hezbollah trying to figure out a way to retaliate, the walkie-talkies blow up on them. And hundreds more are in serious injuries, and some are dead. And even the ambassador of Iran, he's the ambassador of Iran to Lebanon, he had a pager. What's he doing with a pager with Hezbollah? Why does he have a Hezbollah pager? But he did. And it blew up in his face, and he's blinded. And he's the ambassador from Iran to Lebanon. This thing, Israel, this is incredible to me that Israel, while they've been fighting Hamas and hunting them down like dogs and and assassinating the top man of Hezbollah, the top man of Hamas, another commandos of Hamas, while they've been assassinating those guys and taking over Gaza and cornering the last guy they want to get, they will get him, is Sinwar. Meanwhile, the Iranian president, for some reason, crashes his helicopter into a side of a mountain. Remember that? That was after he swore to annihilate Israel. And then the Turkish parliament speaker behind the podium addressing the entire Turkish parliament curses Israel, condemning and curses Israel that they will be annihilated, has a massive heart attack standing there at the podium, cursing Israel, falls over backward and dies on the spot. Remember that? And I bring this up. Let me tell you about the blindness. If you'll go with me to the Bible, if you go with me to Zechariah 12, you've heard me over almost 15 years quote you prophecy scriptures. Many of you have heard me read this verse. You've heard me read from Zechariah 12 1,000 times on the air. I almost guarantee that. I've preached so many times about this. Let me read this. This is Zechariah chapter 12, verse 1. The burden of the word of the Lord for Israel, saith the Lord, which stretches forth the heavens and layeth the foundation of the earth and formeth the spirit of man within him. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the people round about, and they shall be in the siege both against Judah and against Jerusalem. And in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people, and all that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it. But let's read the next verse. And in that day, saith the Lord, I will smite every horse with astonishment, and his rider with madness. And I will open my eyes upon the house of Judah, and I will smite every horse of the people with blindness. That's verse 4. And you look at what happened to the Hezbollah fighters. They have been hit with madness. They're running in the streets. They're running in and out of the hospitals. Chaos, hands blown off, people screaming. And 500 of them hit with blindness. And all because they're hell-bent on destroying Israel, destroying Jerusalem, destroying the only democracy we have in the Middle East. And I would hope and pray that the United States federal government will get fully behind Israel at this moment. 100%. And I was just listening to Amir Safari before I came on. And Amir was just stunned at these walkie-talkie things blowing up. He was getting ready to sign off when he heard that this was happening. And I had also heard that this was happening, and I was in the process of getting ready to go live. But then I dug a little deeper, made some more contacts, and found out just that it's hundreds of walkie-talkies, radios. And so obviously Israel's ability to use some type of hack attack technology to make things blow up, but not every one of them blow up, just those specific ones they want to blow up, which means they have compromised Hezbollah's communication network totally. They're not blowing up civilians. See, there's a difference between Israel and Hezbollah, Hamas, and Iran. Hezbollah, Hamas, and Iran, they go kill innocent people, women, children, and babies. And they shoot indiscriminately rockets. Israel systematically tries every way in the world to not give me 1 second here. They try every way in the world to not hurt any civilians if possible, but to target the leaders, to take out the head of the snake, to then take out the Hezbollah fighters or Hamas fighters, and trying every way in the world to prevent hurting any civilians, although civilians do get hurt in any war just because they happen to be in the wrong spot at the wrong time. But it's not the plan. That's not what you're hearing on the U.S. media. That's not what you're hearing right now from the current administration. They are painting a picture of Israel that is a false narrative, and it's being done in the UN. And next week is the United Nations, and the UN is going to meet next week in New York. And you got to know that. And oh, by the way, and they just allowed Palestinians to have a seat at the table and calling them the state of Palestine when there is no state of Palestine. And you got to know that the whole world is going. This scripture I just read to you, the whole world is getting ready to come down on Israel. The whole world, exactly as the scripture says they will do. And while the whole world, and while the students are protesting in the streets against the Jews, and while the current Biden and Harris administration can't figure out which side they need to be on, while all this is taking place, we have a situation right now where the UN is going to meet, and they're going to try to impose their will upon Israel. And I'm talking about a forced two-state solution, which is exactly basically what Harris said yesterday in the interview she did with the three journalists. And she said it also during the debate 3 times, to the point that Trump turned and said she's an enemy of Israel. And so it's coming down. We're watching, guys. For those of you who don't think we've even had Psalms 83, we're in a, guys, Psalms 83, that's done. That's happened. That's happening. That's definitely in play. You're now staring down at Zechariah 12 and Ezekiel 38. They're almost like they're going to come together simultaneously. And like Dr. Chuck Missler said, when I asked him in October of 2015, what will be the next big biblical milestone? And I was hoping he would say the rapture, or that he would, or the, a great revival, a great repentance in America, a reawakening in America. So I was hoping for something. He said the next big biblical milestone you'll see is Ezekiel 38, Pastor Begley. And then he said Psalms 83. The question is, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? He said, is it Psalms 83 rolling into Ezekiel 38, or is it Ezekiel 38 encompassing Psalms 83? Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? It's not going to matter. Paul, that is the next major biblical milestone. And that will put in motion, he said, ultimately, some type of peace agreement, maybe a covenant with many that includes the rise of the Antichrist and the building of the third temple and on. And it said, and then at some point, he said, I don't want to pinpoint exactly where, but at some point, the rapture. And this is why you need to tell people they need to be ready. They need to be ready. And so tonight, don't miss our broadcast tonight on getting ready. That starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. That'll be live at www.ffctv.church. That's www.ffctv.church. Don't miss that tonight. That's at 7 p.m. Now, here's what I'm going to ask you to do: to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. You won't believe the path of what it took to get these. I explain exactly how the pagers, where they started, how they were made, who bought them, who distributed them, who got them, and then who blew them up, and how it was done. You need to hear it. Go to Patreon, watch the video. I just did it. If you're a member of Patreon, go there and watch it. I told you I'm going to be using Patreon every day now. Because of the events that are happening, I just can't do it all here. I can't say everything I want to say here. I can there better. And I can't even say everything I want to say even there sometimes. I got to start doing some live broadcasting, I guess, from my own website. That's why we do all the webinars at the website. And matter of fact, this webinar coming up, October surprise, you'll be watching it all from the website. Get your ticket. You don't have to wait to get a link. Get your ticket, and you'll have your ticket. And on September 27th, it will go live. It will just activate, and you will be able to watch all these incredible speakers. You talk about binge watching. I promise you, you'll watch one and say, oh my, this was the greatest interview I've ever seen. And then you'll watch the next one. This is even better. I can't even tell you right now. I can't even tell you. They're so good. I just interviewed Dave Hodges yesterday. He blew me out of the water. He blew me out of the water with the intel he had. And I did Doug Hagman the day before that. Unbelievable. And last week I interviewed David Nino Rodriguez. Incredible. And Clyde Lewis, the best presentation he ever did. And John, the AI expert, I just played a little clip of him on YouTube just to give you a thought. Pastor Greg Locke is incredible. And then his house got shot up with 40 bullets. Troy Anderson was amazing, my co-author from Revelation 9:11. Daniel Blow the Shofar guy, he just blew everybody away. But on that last Thursday night, and that's nothing compared to his presentation on this webinar. Mike from around the world, I've still got to interview yet. I wonder what he's going to say about all this technology blowing up in people's hands. And where is this going? Now what's going to happen? And so, guys, we're on the brink. And no wonder I wrote the book Revelation 9:11. If you haven't got a copy of this, you need to go get that right now. Order that right now from Amazon. Go do that right now. Order 5 copies. Give 4 of them away. Just go do it. And let me just say this, because that'll help you understand Apollyon and World War III. But I talk about Ezekiel 38. I talk about Psalms 83. I tell you the steps it will take to get us to the 6th trumpet war, which is known as World War III. And why is Apollyon turned loose? And how soon is it the coming of Jesus Christ, the King of glory? Wow. I mean, folks, seriously, are you serious? Can I have some coffee right now? Go to Patreon. If you're not a member there, sign up. You give what you want. Most people average is about $5 a month. Some people give 10 or 20 a month. Some give less than 5. You do what you want, but you're going to have to be a part of this to get all the info.
Saturday
I can't
was
help
silent, and surely it was through. Since when has impossible ever stopped you? And Friday's disappointment is Sunday's empty tomb.
Glory to God.
Since when has impossible ever stopped you? This is the sound of our dry bones rattling. This is the praise, make a dead man walk again. Open the grave, I'm coming out. I'm gonna live again. This is the sound of dry bones rattling. Pentecostal fire, stirring something new. You're not gonna run out of miracles anytime soon.
Oh, thank God.
Your resurrection power, it runs in my veins too.
The walkie-talkies are blowing up.
I believe there's another miracle here in this room.
The pagers are blowing up.
This is the sound of dry bones rattling.
The bones are rattling.
This is the praise, make a dead man walk again.
Prophecy.
Open the grave, I'm coming out. I'm gonna live again.
I told you that blood moon yesterday.
The sound of dry bones rattling.
I told you that blood moon always deals with war in the Holy Land. Are you serious? Are you serious?
My God is able to save and deliver and heal and restore anything that he wants to. Just ask the man who was thrown on the bones of Elisha if there's anything that he can do. Just as the stone that was rolled at the tomb in the garden, what happens when God says to move? I feel him moving it now. I feel him doing it now. I feel him doing it now. Do it now. Do it now. This is the sound of dry bones rattling. Yeah, this is the praise making dead man walk again. Open the grave, I'm coming out. I'm gonna live again. Open the grave, I'm coming out. I'm gonna live again. Open the grave, I'm coming out. I'm gonna live again. This is the sound of dry bones rattling.
Unbelievable, folks. I never thought I would see prophecy in my lifetime like this. Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Prophesy and say to them, thus saith the Lord God, behold, my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come up from your graves and bring you into the land of Israel. Then you shall know that I am the Lord, and I will put my spirit in you, and I will place you in your own land, and you shall live. I will place you in your own land. You shall live, 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 live. He will strike them with blindness. He will drive them mad with astonishment. Dry bones live. Dry bones live. It's unbelievable, guys. Again, for those of you who just joined me, maybe live. Yesterday, it was over 4,000 pagers that exploded in the hands of Hezbollah. 300, almost 400 of those fighters are in critical condition. Over 500 of them are blind, and thousands of them losing limbs, losing fingers and hands, and what have you. 12 people dead. Unfortunately, we do know 2 children did die in all of that, just because they happen to be apparently next to the pagers. But for the most part, you have 98% of the pagers exploded got the fighter, the Hezbollah fighter. Now, while that chaos went on all day yesterday, guess what? About less than an hour ago, walkie-talkies, hundreds of them, maybe over 1,000 of them, exploded in the hands of Hezbollah again. This time, the walkie-talkies, how they communicate, because they couldn't use the pagers no more. So they went to the walkie-talkie, those blew up. So now what are they going to do? So you have to understand, massive chaos. Again, the hospitals overflowing. They had to ship critically injured patients into Syrian hospitals. They flew almost a plane full of injured Hezbollah fighters to Iran, to hospitals. While this is all going on, Israel has proclaimed that they're going to fight off Hezbollah and allow their people to move back to their homes in northern Israel. Now, Amir Safari, he's passionate. I saw a little bit earlier today. He's like, let's do it now. Get your act together, guys. Do it now. Well, they are doing it now. I know he's a little bit passionate right now because he lives there. And you'd be frustrated too. But I think they are doing it. They're taking out their communications. They're wounding all of these Hezbollah fighters, taking out their way to communicate, striking fear in the entire country, and then going to get ready to roll in and push the Hezbollah army back away from their border. Meanwhile, fight Hamas, try to free the hostages, finish off Hamas, kill its leaders, send war, and retake the Gaza Strip, eliminating Hamas for good, seal up the Philadelphia corridor where the weapons come in through Egypt, and do all of that while dealing with the protesting that goes on around the world, especially in our colleges in the Northeast of the United States, and deal with a very uncooperative current administration. They got to deal with all of that and throw in some 200,000 or 300,000 of their own citizens protesting because they just want it to end, but they don't understand. Everybody would love for it to end, and we all hold hands and sing Kumbaya, but that's not going to happen. And so, myself, I look at all of this, having been to Israel 11 times, having friends there, close friends there, and people that I know, and having been to these locations that are now have been hit with rockets, and rockets are flying right now as we speak. It's an incredible time, guys. If you haven't ordered my book, do that. I just checked Amazon this morning. Revelation 9:11 is ranked number 32 in the category of church and state religious studies. Number 1 is right now Jonathan Cahn's The Dragon Prophecy. I see that Kirk Cameron's book is number 7, called Born to be Brave. I see Dr. Ben Carlson's book is number 8, The Perilous Fight. And I see that Dr. Jonathan Cahn's book, also The Harbinger 2, is number 26. I see that Phil Robinson's book, I Could Be Wrong, But I Doubt It, from Duck Dynasty, his is number 27 right now. Also, Pastor James Garlow, I met him. Actually, he and I spoke at the Knesset together back in 2018. His book is number 30 right now, called Well Versed. Perry Stone's book, America's Apocalyptic Reset, is number 35 right now. Mine's number 32, Revelation 9:11. And there's some, and I'm just naming a few. There's some great books here. The American Patriot Bible is number 43 on this category. So anyway, there's some great prophecy books out there. And of course, my co-author, Troy Anderson, his book called The Trump Code is doing very well as well. And so you can order that right now, and that's supposed to ship on the same day of our webinar. It's supposed to ship September 27th. I'm going to say this, guys. If you haven't got we're only 9 days away from the webinar. We're only 9 days away. Go get your tickets right now. Go to paulbegleyprophecy.com. Order your tickets today, so you'll be ready to go. If you need to call to order, you can do it that way. Pick up the phone and call 765-414-2230. Now, if you haven't watched, and now what I'm going to do, I'm going to get off here so you can go to Patreon and watch the video I just did. And the title of that video is called The Exploding Pagers, Lebanon. I give you the inside intel on how these things were put together, how it was done. Unbelievable. From Taiwan to the hands of Hezbollah, and the path it took to get there, incredible. And understand that Israel is superior, apparently, to just about everybody when it comes. God is giving them these incredible intellectual capability to, again, outsmart their enemy, which the Bible said would happen. I'll be back with more. Give your life to Jesus Christ. The most important thing you can do is give your life to Jesus Christ. He is coming back. The shofar is going to blow, and he's coming soon. Don't be left behind.